All right, Fresh, let's travel to the state of North Carolina. Come on and raise up. We're going, oh man, is this going to be a fun one? I'm excited to talk about this one. The Fighting Irish coming off that loss to Ohio State. They're 4-1 on the season. They're 4-1 on the season right now. And the Duke Blue Devils are 4-0 on the year. Big win to start the season against Clemson. And now they're really going to be tested here against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 5.5 road favorite. Over-under set 50 in this game. Interesting that the over-under was set so high. Fresh, how you seeing Notre Dame and Duke?
I think this is a fantastic matchup. Also, but I think just even preset by game day showing up to Durham for football. First time ever, folks. This is not going to, outside of, Cameron Indoor for a Coach K, or a Duke, Carolina basketball game. This is for football right across the street at the football field and game days on campus. That's where Duke is right now. Mike Elko and that staff have done a fantastic job of bringing in and developing tough football players and playing it the right way. It's not just a fluke win over Clemson. They beat a very good football team in Clemson. I think they're not a ranked team, but the way they played versus Florida State, it showed that Clemson still had talent, and Duke beat the trash out of them. This team is loaded. They have depth. They play disciplined. They kind of remind me of, we had the Northwestern teams or the Stanford teams that were really good, under whether they had Andrew Luck there or Christian, McCaffrey, or the Northwestern teams that went to the Big Ten title games. It's that same kind of mentality of, well, it's high academic standards. There's no way they can compete, they can win. If you go out and get the smart kids, there are a lot of smart kids out there who play football, folks. They're not the moniker, the stigma of dumb jocks is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There are extremely intelligent people all over this entire country, all over this world, who can play football. And if they come in there, they can they can play at the highest level, and they get the academic standards at the same time. They can come out there and get it done. They're disciplined, they execute, they play within the system that's built there, and they find ways to win. And people take them and they underrate them. I think this is a big standard for Duke football to show, you know what? We can actually sustain. We can do this. We did this last year. We're going to do it this year. I'm impressed. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen on Saturday night. And I've been impressed with Mike Elko, what he did last year and this year. But it's not just him. It's the way the defense, also all the players across the board, how they play within each other and play within the system. Their star quarterback, Riley Leonard, who 778 passing, 1 touchdown, 238 rushing, and 4 touchdowns so far this season. He hasn't had to do too much, and yet this team is winning. Last year, he tore it up. He ran all over the field. He threw over the field. He made plays happen. Will that ability and will that showcase of skill come into play on Saturday night? Now he can actually put up there and actually get it going against a very, very stout Notre Dame defense. On the other hand, he's also been helped out and supported by running back Jordan Waters, 258 and 7 touchdowns. That's right, folks. 4 games, he has 7 rushing touchdowns already. If the 2 of them get going, Notre Dame's in trouble. And will Notre Dame be let down after the effort? They were getting so close to finally beating Ohio State. How does the team actually respond? There's rumors, there's stories coming out of South Bend that the team is dejected. And Coach Freeman and the entire staff are just begging this team to get up and get juice and get energy and rebuild their confidence. They were completely dejected. They had that game won, and they lost it late on multiple occasions. How does this Notre Dame team respond, having to go on the road with game day talent again? The spotlight is no longer on you, but you're playing a very formidable foe. That's a big challenge for Marcus Freeman and the entire staff, Sam Hartman, the entire team. How do they respond? Because Duke right now, they have nothing to lose. If Duke loses, nobody cares. It's not that big of a deal. If Duke wins, then everyone starts asking, is Notre Dame a fraud? And is Duke really going to run? Could Duke Carolina be the game of the year in the ACC? I don't think it will be, but that's where you start going on that road. How does Notre Dame respond mentally for this football game? And can Duke just go in and play free like they did versus Clemson, where nobody gave them a chance, and take advantage of the crowd, take advantage of the spotlight, and win a football game? They also need to make sure that they follow what Ohio State did last week. The Duke has to watch and look at that film. There's a different Ohio State approach than we've usually seen in Ryan Day. Ryan Day loves to throw the football. He has changed. I said it going in the preview last week. This is going to be the best coaching effort of Ryan Day's career on Saturday night. I wouldn't say it's the best, had some, maybe a couple coaching, questions here and there, but they ran the football. They ran the football, and they ran the football extremely effective against Notre Dame. They didn't make Kyle McCord in a situation where he'd be uncomfortable. And that's what you have to do with Riley Leonard. Do not put him back there where you put four receivers in the field and have to keep chucking the ball. Because that Notre Dame secondary, the Notre Dame defense, Bertrand is as fast as a linebacker to come off the edge in a blitz. You're going to be in trouble. You've got to run the ball and be physical, and you've got to match them at the line of scrimmage. That's what Notre Dame is. That's what the tradition they always will be. They are a physical football team. And if you do not meet them in the trenches and run the ball and protect your quarterback and manage the passing game, you will be in trouble. You look at all the times Notre Dame loses is they get out physical at the line of scrimmage. No matter what Notre Dame team you watch, Brian Kelly eras, current administration, Tyrone Whittingham back in the day, if you don't own the line of scrimmage against Notre Dame because they're always going to have great linemen, you're going to lose. And that's what Duke has to do. They've got to meet them in the trenches, do what Ohio State did, run the ball down their throat, and then passing game build off of that. You got to change. You have to force yourself to change a philosophy sometimes. And Ryan Day did it, and it paid off. If McCord had to drop back all night long and they didn't have the running game, I'm not sure that offense would have scored, even though they only scored 17 points. Would they have been as successful? Would he have made some mistakes? Possibly, but you don't know. The game is a win for Ohio State. Move on. Notre Dame has got to learn. On the other side of this game, Hartman, Estime, and that Notre Dame offense, outside the final fourth quarter, you had 2 touchdowns. You were dead for 3 quarters. How did you guys respond? You came in, scored 40-plus points in 4 straight games, had never been done before in Ohio State history. In Notre Dame history. And Ohio State shut you down. And you struggled. You finally were able to squeak a couple touchdowns in late. Where do you get that offense fired up and get going again? You couldn't run the ball very effectively. Hartman couldn't throw the ball. It was pressure all night from that Ohio State defense. How do you guys flip the switch on a very bad and blundered outing in the biggest game of your season that could have actually kept you in the playoff picture? Right now, I think you're completely out of it. Even if you run the table, I don't think that you're going to be in because Clemson is so far off, and I don't think you're beating USC. So that's a big trouble point right now for Notre Dame. You wasted your chance. You can't let that one loss become 2. I think the Irish are going to start really slow in this football game. They're going to have effects of that Ohio State game still hanging over them. They're going to be, the environment's going to be a little big for them, having to get up for another football game. As time carries on, I think they find a way to get a win. It will be ugly. It won't be spectacular. It won't be a 40-point effort. It's a 5.5. At least I did my preview. They had 5.5-point spread. I think they cover that. They might win by 6, maybe 7, maybe like a 24-17. 20-13 game. It will be ugly. It'll muck it through. They'll find a way to get a win in the end. It'll be a test to Marcus Freeman and the entire team to be physical and to win an ugly one and overcome adversity. But Duke will put up a heck of a fight and make it a 4-quarter battle.
Fresh, it really comes down to the question, how well is Marcus Freeman able to get Notre Dame to bounce back after this game? That's a heartbreaking loss, however you shake it. And I think that we saw a thing in that fourth quarter of really how Notre Dame can dominate this football game. And it comes down to Love and SMA just running the football. SMA they were cruising 5.7 yards to carry against Ohio State, and Duke is allowing 133 yards rushing right now in the season. Duke's defense, though, is an interesting thing to look at. They have this bend, don't break mentality. They give up a lot of yards inside the 20, but really lock it down around the 25-yard line. It's fascinating to watch and see what they're able to do. Riley Leonard takes care of the football, hasn't turned the ball over right now, and Jordan Waters is like the perfect complement to Leonard. I really, really like this kid. I like what he's been able to do. But this is definitely the best team Duke has faced. And you got to deal with, especially on the outside, Benjamin Morrison. He has definitely become a lockdown corner on the outside there. I think he may be one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football right now. He has been fantastic this season. I really do think the question's got to be, though, what if Duke wins this game? What if the Blue Devils pulled off the upset? Because this would be a pretty big upset if Duke wins this game. Not saying it's impossible like one of the other ones. What if Duke wins this and they move to 5-0? All of a sudden, it's very interesting for the Blue Devils. Very, very interesting for the Blue Devils. I think that they're going to have a lot of respect on their name going into that matchup with Florida State later in the year. I got Notre Dame winning this game. I'm going to take the 5.5 points as well, but I'm not going to be. If Duke won, if it's Saturday night and we're talking about, oh my gosh, Duke won. I can't believe Duke beat Notre Dame. I'm not going to be, oh my, wow, like I can't believe that. I'm going to be like, I get it. I understand what they did. The game plan is there for them to win. I just don't know if they're going to be able to execute to that level. So give me the Irish in this game. I'll take the points, like I said. And you know what? I'll actually take the under in this game. I don't think they're going to hit 50. I think this is going to be a little bit low scoring football game and play tight, but it will be decided by the time fourth quarter rolls around.
It'll
All
be a
right.
fun one on Saturday night, but if Duke wins, do we actually get an official name for their student section at the football field? Because we have we have Cameron Crazies. Do we get the Wade Wackos or something like that? Like, what is that name if they actually pull off the upset? What will that be?
I'll take it, man. I love Duke fans on that part. I love the Duke and North Carolina rivalry. It's fantastic. Both fan bases, a lot of respect out to them.